Hi, this is Brian. I'm the producer for OPUS Rocket of Whispers. If you're listening to this now, it means you've finished our game. Thank you, it means a lot to us, and I hope you enjoy the experience. The following tracks include some questions we often get from players like you. We thought we'd answer some of them and share some thoughts on the development of this sequel. We hope you enjoy. I'm sure many of you are new to our games, so I'll briefly introduce ourselves. We're a growing independent game studio currently in our 4th year of operation. Since the moderate success of our previous title, Opus, The Day We Found Earth, we've been focusing our efforts on story-driven work. We want to bring people joy through our games by creating unique, heartfelt experiences. After launching The Day We Found Earth, we received large amounts of positive feedback. This made us consider the possibility of turning Opus into a series. Despite the length of our games and their lack of mainstream appeal, we feel that if we stick to an emotional theme, the series will develop an identity and eventually carve its own path. One of the main design goals for The Day We Found Earth was to create a sense of infinite vastness through space. So for the sequel, we decided to explore the vastness of land instead. And this created an interesting parallel because the first game was about finding Earth. In a sense, the story was heading groundward toward the Earth. So it seemed only natural that a story taking place down here would head skyward towards space. And this led to the foundation of our story, traveling across a vast landscape in search of a rocket that could reach the stars. We went through a lot of premises after settling on rockets, such as launching a space colony for interplanetary migration, or a mission to re-establish communications with something far away. In the end, we chose space burials because honoring the dead is a ritual that's spiritual by nature, and that element of faith provides a human motivation for the very hard science task of building a rocket, much like the way Earth has become a mythical planet in The Day We Found Earth. Despite the absurdity of building a rocket after the world ends, it's that conviction to fulfill something beyond survival that makes us human. Early in development, we were actually very close to having 3 main characters. This version involved a woman and 2 brothers who grew up dreaming about building rockets together one day. However, the older brother died to the plague before the start of the game, and so the story revolves around how the remaining 2 try to launch a space burial for him. Throughout the game, it would be revealed that the woman has romantic feelings for the older brother, and the younger brother has feelings for her, while the older brother, now a wandering spirit, only wishes that the 2 can move on from their grief and be happy. It's a good thing we didn't follow through with this version, otherwise the game would have had a very different tone. As a small team, one of the biggest challenges for this game was creating a sense of vastness. While The Day We Found Earth faced a similar challenge, the space was mostly filled with, well, space. Creating a believable space is a lot less complex than towns, cities, and roads because they require cultural and historical context. So even though the story takes place after the apocalypse, we've actually written dozens of pages of history that documents the development of this area over the past 60 years, and built the world based on this information. One of the more common feedback we get for Rocket of Whispers is the lack of gameplay. What's interesting is that the game was originally designed to have pretty hardcore survival elements. The player would have to keep track of their fuel, health, and hydration levels, and decide what gear to carry when they head out. Making the wrong choices would waste the day, and wasting too many days would cause the launch to fail. But after many playtests, we decided to drop this system because its complexity would divert the player's attention away from the rocket and story, and people would become obsessed with time and resources. So that's how time became the only resource left in the game, with very little penalties attached. There's a lot of discussion about whether the ending was happy or sad, and I think this is up to the player. However, I'd like to think of this as a story about the cyclic nature of relationships. People come and go throughout our lives, usually for reasons beyond our control. So we can only learn to accept the ephemerality of these relationships and realize that the beginning and end of a connection is often 2 sides of the same coin. I guess what I'm trying to say is, despite how difficult and inevitable it is to say goodbye, never be afraid to say hello. And if this game has, in any way, made someone's day a better one, it would make us very happy. Near the end of the game, there's a climactic moment in space with a chorus singing along with the music. That chorus is actually sung by us. We've wanted to add vocals to the game since early development for moments of strong emotional impact, and our composer, Trio Dust, thought the ending would be perfect for this, given that it's arguably the most important scene. He then immediately suggested that we get everyone in the studio to do the singing, so we booked a meeting room and gathered everyone for a recording session, as we thought it would be a fun Easter egg. Despite having no experience singing in a chorus, we've managed to do a decent job and finished the recording within an hour. So that was something interesting that happened during development. Rocket of Whispers has done far better than we expected, with more downloads and awards than The Day We Found Earth. We'd like to give a special thanks to those who have supported us since the first title. Without your support, OPUS would not have become a series. So thank you. Thank you for listening till the end. Making games can be tough sometimes, especially for story-driven games, which are difficult to monetize by nature and challenging to keep them profitable. But as always, we'll do our best because your support has allowed us to keep making games. So again, thank you. And if you've enjoyed our work, please feel free to share them with your friends.